The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, welcome to another CW webinar. I'm Carolina, and this time we will bring you the main highlights of our soon-to-be released White Cement Rubber Report 2019 update. On today's agenda, we will start with an introduction first of our company, what it is that we do and what we have to offer. I will share some information about today's presenters, and I will give some insights of what you can find and expect in our report that we present today. After this brief introduction, we would like to move on to our report highlights, focusing on macroeconomic outlook, giving you a sneak peek in our capacity study, and an overview of supply-demand patterns, trade, and of course the answer to today's question: how will white cement supply and demand evolve over the next 5 years? For today's presentation, I would like to introduce Prashant Singh, Associate Director of CW Group. He's based in Mumbai, India. Of course, myself, Carolina Pereira, Business Analyst at CW Group, as well as my colleague Juliana, Junior Business Analyst, as both based in our Porto office in Portugal. About our company, under CW Group presents across 3 different and distinct umbrellas: advisory, research, and media. Under our advisory branch, CW Group works with major global consulting companies and leading institutions, including, for example, the World Bank and other investment funds on several projects. We provide consulting and advisory expertise on a diverse product portfolio. Of course, we cover cement, building materials, chemical products, defense-related studies, as well as the food market and food products at a global level. Of course, how do we do this? And all of this, we count with an unparalleled network that allows us to reach all corners of the world, as well as with our rich and rigorous methodology that is applied in all of our multi-industry studies. Under our research group branch and umbrella, the one that this report that we present today about white cement falls in, CW focuses on cement demand globally, as well as with a detailed industry and country reports. We provide historical as well as forecasts for markets in a variety of products, including, of course, our most well-known products such as the Volume Forecast Report, VFR, and Trade Prices Report, TPR. But we have a lot of other studies, including specialty cements, where this white cement report is included. We provide commodity price assessments for cement and clinker, petcoke, and coal. Now, under our media umbrella, you can have access to our vast database. For example, we provide weekly market data as roundups regarding the cement industry, the industry of paper and pulp, as well as the petcoke. You can also find us with newsletters for topics of interest. For example, we have SAM Week, Petcoke Week, Bulk Week, Building Materials Week, Industry of Paper and Pulp, IPP as we call it, and of course Coal Week. with the interesting twist that we as analysts are the one doing daily analysis and daily selection of topics of interest. You can also find us we also provide industry, invest in industry-specific meetings. We have, and take this opportunity to invite you to our next meeting, CW Summit Americas, being held in Miami on the 16th and 17th of January. In this meeting, we will be sharing and discussing our knowledge regarding the cement market on an executive level meeting. And of course, you will hear a lot, and we will have a dedicated slot for specialty cements where you can find a lot more than just what we are kind of disclosing here in this webinar. About our reports, Global White Cement Market and Trade Report 2019 update. To provide you with a better understanding of what you can expect of CW's Global White Cement Report, we cover consumption and production figures, import and export data, as well as pricing trends and white cement capacity developments. As per CW standards, we provide a 5-year forecast on consumption numbers until 2024, but we also give you a 10-year look back for historical data. To secure that we provide the most accurate and up-to-date information, we conduct several industry interviews with market participants worldwide. For this year's update, we were able to include an even more detailed analysis of, for example, one of the examples, of course, would be the Chinese market and its capacity in major market players. To find out more about Global White Cement Market and Trade Report 2019 update, I would invite you to visit our website that can be found in this page. Now, moving to what everyone is here to hear me talk about, the highlights of this report, I would like to finalize my part of this presentation with a macroeconomic outlook. As you can tell, the IMF, and we show in this chart, IMF revisions during 2019 have been having a downward trend. And here we include the most recent update of the month of October. Why is that? What are the main worldwide events at a global, of course, level that are impacting and are responsible for such downward revisions? First of all, increasing trade friction and the slowdown of markets such as China and India that, of course, have serious impacts at a global level. The slowdown of the US economy, being impossible not to talk about the US-China trade war. Just to give you an idea, the America's trade war with China could cost the global economy around $700 billion. Aligned with this, we also have the slowdown of the German economy and, of course, the impacts of the ongoing Brexit uncertainty. Economies are undergoing strong shocks, such as Argentina and Turkey, and those are also responsible for dragging down emerging markets and their clusters, of course. We cannot finalize this presentation with not talking about the crippling US sanctions on Iran and conflicts in Syria and Yemen. Thanks, everyone. I would like to thank you for your attention and introduce you to my colleague, Juliana. Thank you, everyone. Juliana.
Thank you, Carolina. Hello, everyone. My name is Liana. Now I would like to present the regional distribution of white cement capacity. As you can see, during the past 2 decades, North America is expected to see the most significant addition to its white cement capacity. The long delay capacity finally is coming to North America in the form of a 0.5 million tons of white cement. The company US Cement announced a new cement plant in Brandy, Texas, and it's expected that the project will finally be completed in 2022. Through this will be help to relieve some of the US white cement demand requirement. It's still insufficient to alter the existing narrative of a net importer market. In the next slide, we can see the top 10 white cement companies for 2019. Cementee, Cinsa, and LafargeHolcim represent a quarter of the global white cement capacity. Cementee's biggest plant is in Egypt with the capacity of 1.1 million tons per year. Cinsa has established itself as the second largest white cement producer in the world. The two biggest plants are located in Turkey and Spain. The Cinsa plant in Spain, named Buñol, has the capacity of 0.7 million tons, and it was acquired from the Cemex. LafargeHolcim was the third largest white cement producer in the world, and the two biggest white cement plants in terms of capacity are located in Algeria and France. Now, I would like to present the global white cement production. Globally, the white cement production remained stable, with a slight growth of 0.1% during the period of 2014 to 2019. North America showed the biggest increase during this period by a CAGR of 3%. The second largest growth was in the Asia excluding China region. Latin America shows the biggest drop by a negative CAGR of 7%. Now I will pass to my colleague Prashant to present the next slides. Thank you for your attention. Prashant.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Juliana. As you see, although the global white cement production only grew at a CAGR of 0.1%, as shown by my colleague, the Asia ex-China region witnessed a CAGR of 2.7% last year. However, that has not really translated into major price changes in 2019. The prices that you see for the major importers and exporters have remained relatively similar to those witnessed in 2018. This sort of emphasizes the fact that no major changes were made this year in the existing global trading network, meaning trader import markets and exporters continued the same relationship that they had last year without any major disruptions. Therefore, the prices being almost similar to witnessed previously. On the next slide, please. And in this slide, we have a brief understanding of the global consumption trend over the past 5 years. And while globally the CAGR has been 0.5%, that does not really highlight some of the regions that have shown remarkable development. The Asia ex-China region has actually had a CAGR growth of around 3.7 or close to 4%. Whereas Western Europe and North America have grown at around 6%. China, by far the biggest player in the world, grew close to 2% over the period. What the growth of the Asia ex-China region has presented is a new power center, which can take the mantle of leadership from Western Europe, and taking a global demand forward. It is already the second largest or third largest consuming region after China and Western Europe, significantly ahead of North America, and sort of matches less than the Middle East, but the growth prospects for this region are far more attractive than what we sort of find for the Middle East, at least in past, as well as I will discuss in later slides, what we sort of look at for their future. On the next slide, please. See, North America and Western Europe are already established growth centers for white cement demand. And in 2019, both are expected to contribute around 7% and 14% respectively of total demand. And both have actually grown at a CAGR of close to 6% over the past 5 years. Now, the Asia ex-China region, which accounted for a little over 10% of global demand in 2014, now accounts for close to 12.5% of total demand at a CAGR of 3.7%. And the per capita consumption, as you can see highlighted, is the average per capita consumption in the Middle East is in excess of 14 kilograms per person, but that's actually not really descriptive. Qatar has a per capita consumption of in excess of 54 kilograms per person, whereas sort of India in the Asia ex-China region only has a per capita consumption of 0.8 kilograms. Of course, a point of consideration is the huge disparity in the size of the populations between these two countries. So everything being relative, it's sort of important to understand the sort of the long-term consumption possibilities. In absolute terms, China is and will remain the elephant in the room. While its per capita consumption is around 4 kilograms, by virtue of the size, it accounts for almost 30% of the global demand. So even though the per capita consumption may be low, it will continue to remain a major player in this market for decades to come. The Middle East, unfortunately, although it has a very attractive per capita consumption at the moment, has been facing some challenging times. And we really don't see the market sort of recovering anytime soon. The next slide, please. So this is the meat of the product for the global white cement report. What is our perspective on what is for the until 2024? As you can see, almost every single region is expected to grow, with the exception of the Middle East. We do foresee that Middle East consumption will remain sort of stable at the level that it is. This is primarily driven by the fact that global crude prices are not expected to recover in the short term due to sort of the downturn in the global economy. And we do not see any reason why there would be an upswing in sort of crude prices over the sort of short term. And because white cement demand is predominantly driven by large-scale investments by governments, especially in the Middle East, this should sort of drag on for a few more years before we see cement demand from the Middle East picking up again. The Asia ex-China region, as I've sort of discussed previously, is a shining light, a beacon for demand growth. And the CAGR is actually even in excess of the 3.7% shown previously for the previous period. We foresee that growth will sort of grow, have a much more, even more optimistic trend over the next 5 years. North America and Western Europe are mature markets, and they will continue to grow at stable rates. We do not foresee any major reason to see a huge increase in demand. We had expected North America to show more growth over the past couple of years, predominantly based on the assumption that $1 trillion investment would be coming into infrastructure, and there would be significant changes to America's entire transportation network. Unfortunately, we have not seen that investment materialize, and therefore sort of growth will continue to be focused on the same sectors that have consistently been serviced till present. Eastern Europe marks a return to growth, and I think that is sort of one of the regions that has underperformed over the past 5 years, but we sort of now see signs of recovery coming from that region over the forecast period of until 2024. Last slide, please. And if I may now wrap up in the final remarks. Despite global economic headwinds that we've witnessed this year, the global cement market has remained remarkably resilient. So if you look at the composite picture, production, consumption, capacity has not sort of been shut down. They have still remained positive, albeit not growing at astonishing rates. But they have somehow held their own in a very difficult economic scenario. We don't really foresee major capacity additions going forward. We probably do understand that there may be more mergers and acquisitions that could conceivably be happening, and that would only sort of rearrange the pie, but not really see significant capacity additions. The only major capacity addition that is, I think, likely to happen is the U.S. cement plant in Brady, Texas, which is now slated to be completed by 2022, given that they have received the draft permit from the Texas Commission on Environmental Regulations, so that they can proceed. This plant had been actually held up for a few years due to litigation and strong community opposition, but they have sort of managed to convince the legal authorities that they will be able to comply, and so now the government has sort of given their local go-ahead. So that will be the biggest capacity addition that we sort of forecast for major established players, not including China. Again, Cementir, Simsa, and LafargeHolcim still account for the almost a quarter of global capacity, and unless we see sort of trading between, we still see that this will sort of be the pecking order over the next 5 years. North America, despite this new capacity, will still remain a severe import-dependent nation, given that they import almost more than 1 million tons, and this is excluding the demand growth that we will sort of see over the next 5 years. So this additional like 500,000 tons, if and when it comes online, and if it ever is at full capacity, will still be significantly not capable of supplying and meeting the demand needs for the US on its own. Overall, the global demand growth is expected to recover and grow at a CAGR of 2%, based on basically Eastern Europe, Asia ex-China. And what this does is it leaves us with a positive idea that even though developed markets may be sort of facing challenges, there are other power centers that are sort of now rising that can take on the mantle of leadership and still keep white cement consumption going forward in a positive light. So that's all that we have for you today. I would be delighted if you had any inquiries, and you can direct them to either any of the three of us about this report or any other report, and we'd be happy to sort of answer your queries. I want to thank you all for your time, and we look forward to engaging with you on our next webinar. Thank you, everybody.